I didn't remind him that it was my birthday because I wanted to see if he remembered, and he didn't. And so to him, it was just a phone call. It was a lot worse than just a phone call for me. Tell me happy birthday and make up for it. And that's the last time I ever talked to my dad.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Monday, December 5th, 2022. Who saw the second part of episode 13 and the over dramatics of Robyn and Kody with everything that they experienced and how they completely glossed over Gabe? Who else felt like there was this huge section of the family completely missing, removed, left out? Like, we're just supposed to forget that he cried and then go back to Robyn. Who else felt a sense of getting completely and utterly like gaslit by the producers? Like, this happened, but now we're supposed to go back to Robyn, and the whole buildup was false, fake, and over dramatized and disturbing and irritating and aggravating, but no more discussion about Gabriel. What was that? I was so mad about that. So I want to talk with you about that. Before I do, I want to actually tell you about the show and how it started, because I feel like this might give you an inside peek as to why things are slanted the way that they are. It's kind of disgusting, to be honest. And so we'll dive into the origins of Sister Wives and discuss this part of the episode where they go through the apocalypse, COVID, and the ultimate letdown of Gabe, and why this is super common for polygamy. Before we dive into this video, can you do me a big favor and give this video a thumbs up? If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'm almost at 300,000 subscribers, and I would love to get there soon. Also, give the video ring the bell by clicking on the bell if you want to get notifications, and leave some comments if you have something to say. So this narrative that the Sister Wives have put out for a very long time has always been really one-sided, that plural marriage is great, everything about plural marriage is amazing, and they've never really shown the other side. The opposing side has only been shown a couple times when they did a panel and they went to a house that helped kids escape, but they really downplayed the experiences of the kids that were involved in leaving their families. So I wanted to figure out, like, why has it been like this? And I found the production company's website, and I just want to show this to you, how incredibly biased the show was to begin with. The series is produced by a company called like Muddy Puddle. The series is the brainchild of a producer called Tim Gibbons. He's done a lot of stuff. He's been in TV for a long time. But this is what it says about how the show originated. Early in 2009, Tim came up with the idea of developing a TV series about a polygamous family living in Utah. Over his 20-year career working in TV, he had personally met many polygamous men and women in the US, and as well as developing countries around the world. And the idea grew that there was a much more complicated and compelling story than what was reported by the national media. And at the time, the national media was saying that everything that Warren Jeffs was doing was bad, and there was a lot of pushback, very well-deserved pushback about polygamy. The United Nations has proclaimed polygamy to be a human rights issue because it denies human rights of individuals. So that's just my caveat there. They said this: the first step was to approach the fundamentalist Mormon community, the religious group in the US most well known for the practice of polygamy. We started by contacting Ann Wild at Principal Voices, which was a propaganda machine that was made to try to push out this idea that there was not a patriarchy in polygamy, which is false, okay? An informal, non-denominational, fundamentalist Mormon media relations organization. Meeting Anne at her home, Tim outlined his vision of a reality series focused solely on the everyday struggles of a typical polygamous family. The idea of the series was not to create a debate on whether polygamy was right or wrong, but rather to simply document a polygamous family and let the viewers decide for themselves what they thought of the lifestyle. Tim explained to Anne that there would be no experts that would comment on the show, nor would there be any opposing viewpoints explored. So they agreed from the beginning that they would never show you an opposing viewpoint, that it might not be good for people, okay? It would be produced at the same genre as highly successful other TV shows, and it would create a window into a lifestyle. So the goal from the very beginning was to show you a very, very, very biased presentation. And it was to try to flip the narrative. And they believe they did. They believe they've turned everyone's eyes open, made people realize that polygamy is great. Because at the end of this same statement, they say that it's such a wildly successful show. So if you wonder why they never dive into the harms of polygamy, that's why. It doesn't fit their narrative. It's gross. Okay, because this season we're seeing the harms of polygamy and we're seeing the destruction of polygamy. And it's very current and it's very topical because of how Kody is mistreating his family members, he is abusing his wives, and he's treating his sons and children. In the video I just uploaded, which we discussed the confrontation between Janelle and Kody, I did get a little bit aggravated with Janelle not sticking up for herself, though I understand that Kody was being very hostile and very aggressive. I also felt frustrated as a mother that she wasn't defending her children. Now, when it comes to this episode, they go into the corona apocalypse and they all end up getting COVID. And it's because Brianna picks it up at school. And first she gets it, then Robyn gets it, then Kody, then the kids get it, then Kody, and the only one that doesn't happen to end up getting it is Aurora.
So yesterday I felt pretty yucky. Towards the end of the night I had a fever and body aches and chills and a sore throat and yucky cough.
I had fevers and aches and pains. I didn't even know what day it was.
So they try to play up so much so that literally Robyn is going to die. It's disgusting, truly disgusting. She doesn't die. And Robyn plays her best, I'm going to die. I don't know if I'm ever going to come back to my children. I can't breathe. She's in the hospital. She doesn't even have oxygen on. It's just, there's so much I want to talk to you about, but there's also the heartbreak of Gabriel. So in the midst of all of this, Kody is like losing his mind, and he knows that Gabriel and Janelle and all of them have had COVID in the past. So he calls Gabriel to find out about how to treat or do what they should do for COVID. I want to remind you that when Janelle was sick and Savannah was sick, Kody didn't care at all. Didn't give a rat's patootie. But when Robyn has it, suddenly everything must stop.
October rolls around, specifically October 11th, my birthday. We have a small discussion about how bad my COVID was. I shouldn't have done this, but I did anyway. Remind him that it was my birthday because I wanted to see if he remembered. A lot worse than just a phone call for me. A couple hours after that, he tried to call me back, tell me happy birthday and make up for it. And that's the last time I ever talked to my dad.
Kody getting COVID follows this heated discussion with his wife, Janelle, where he berates the kids and yells about how they're disrespectful and how they need to apologize to Robyn and how they don't accept Robyn and they're horrible and they need to make amends and all of this crap, right? And when Kody needs something, he didn't need to say happy birthday. He didn't need to say anything. And Kody started this and tried to do a disclaimer like, I was so out of it. I couldn't even remember the day. But to Gabriel, he gets the phone call and he assumes his dad is remembering it's his birthday to call him and say happy birthday. And instead, all he wants is information from Gabriel that will help him. He doesn't say it's his birthday. He doesn't do anything. And he says, I shouldn't have done that. I don't know why he should feel guilty about it. Gabriel had no reason he didn't do anything wrong in that situation. And Kody didn't remember his birthday. And then after the fact, tried to call him back and make it up to him. But the damage at that point was done. I think for Gabriel, it wasn't so much that he forgot his birthday. It was like, I haven't talked to you in forever. You finally call me. You want to know about COVID and you can't even remember it's my birthday. Now, he was sick, so yes, I understand that. But then there's this huge breakdown, and my heart is broken and shattered into a million pieces for this boy because his pain means something and it matters, and they don't even talk about it or address it on the show. No one says a word. This scene ends and that's it. Nothing from Janelle, nothing from Kody, nothing. No one says anything about his pain. It's like just a little like tab in the show. That's it. So we're just supposed to forget that he is like crying. And this is the last time he's talked to his dad. Hasn't talked to him since. And then we somehow go on to Mary sending text messages to Robyn and like, oh my gosh, how did you get COVID? And oh, this is so horrible. And then Robyn somehow convincing herself that she's going to die. And they need to go to the hospital because she's so tense in her chest. And she goes to the emergency room and Kody's like having a conniption fit about the fact that she's probably going to die. No mention at all about Gabriel. Nothing.
Robyn's not improving. She's not improving. And finally, our doctor just says, take her to the hospital. People go to the hospital to die.
Was crying and praying, and because I was like scared that she might die.
I didn't want to say goodbye to my kids. I didn't want to say goodbye because I didn't want it to be the last time I saw them.
Did you like all of that acting? Kody says the only reason you go to the hospital is to die. That made me so mad. Like, that's not the truth. You go to the hospital to get better. You don't always die at the hospital. Some people with COVID happen to pass away. Some people did not. Actually, majority of people that got it did not die. And they hype this up. It is so disrespectful to all of the people that actually perished in this pandemic because Robyn wasn't that sick. She just had a cough and her chest was tight. And they're like, I'm afraid she's going to die. And Kody's like, she's going to die. And she's like, I didn't want to say goodbye to everyone because I'm going to die. You know, I wonder sometimes if they actually went and saw mental health help and went to a doctor for the anxiety that they all clearly struggle with and are not treating properly, how things would be so dramatically different for this family. And I feel like it's sick what they do to the kids and how they make the kids believe all of this crap. I mean, you've got Brianna and Aurora crying, thinking their mom is going to die. And Kody's out in his car acting like she's going to die. And even Robyn is in the ER filming herself acting like she's going to die. But then you find out that everything is fine. And we'll get there in a second. And in the meantime, Aurora doesn't get sick. And he's so sad that he didn't get to see Aurora for 10 days. But he's not heartbroken about Gabriel or Garrison or any of the other kids that he hasn't seen in months. Aurora couldn't go 10 days. What about Truly? What about Isabel? What about Gwendolyn? What about Peyton? What about all of the kids? What about Savannah? I was so mad watching this, and I was like, I didn't even care that she had COVID, frankly, because I knew she survived, and I knew she was overreacting, because that is what she does. But check this out.
I just can't get the oxygen in. It hurts to take deep breaths. My x-rays look good. The EKG looks good. And I should be, I think, okay to go home tonight.
Just because she was released doesn't mean she couldn't get worse. So I was still very concerned.
Slowly, I started getting better. I thank God that we're okay.
This woman is such a freaking hypochondriac. She is so, like, what do Kody and her do to her kids? They're literally crying, thinking she's going to die. They're praying to God that she doesn't die. And I'm like, she's a 43-year-old woman that's otherwise healthy. She wasn't on oxygen at any point during the time that she filmed in the hospital. She had a mask on. No oxygen. I actually heard no beeping. I didn't even hear the sound of a pulse ox machine. Her x-rays were fine. Her EKG was fine. Everything was fine. She first says, I'm waiting on a room. And then in the same clip says, oh, I get to go home. It's all played up for drama. And they did that to their kids. I think the kids actually had genuine feelings and like sadness, thinking their mom was going to die. And it's kind of like, what are they telling the little ones about Christine that makes them so mad and hostile? And these two put things in these kids' heads, and they are probably so messed up from their parents, and it's so disturbing. So again, no mention of Gabriel. Yay, Robyn survived. Then Kody gets it, and he's really going out of his mind, and he's so, and it's causing him to like rethink his whole life. And he's looking at photos and he's crying because he lost Christine and what happened. And I'm so grieved by this whole situation. It's so horrible. What happened to me? Really?
I'm looking at family pictures, or I'm looking at my phone. I'm realizing how much I didn't live. I'd see pictures, family pictures and stuff like that, and start sobbing. I've got a divorce that happened, which no doubt in my mind, COVID was a catalyst for that.
Really right. This was something we just didn't want to get. There's been so many things we missed out on. I now know why.
How dramatic can this man be? It's always about him. It's like literally never about anyone else. He never has empathy for anyone else. He never has thoughts for anyone else. He never feels sad for anything. And I'm still sitting here going, whatever. Why didn't anyone address Gabriel? I mean, they're all like, Kody lost his sunshine. Kody he's always this ray of light. He's always so happy. And I'm like, what Kody are you talking about? Because the Kody I see on the show is literally always raging mad, raging like narcissist, yelling, screaming, demanding, brooding. Where's the ray of sunshine? I never see that. Manipulating, conniving, plotting, but not a ray of sunshine. I mean, he's charming to get what he wants. Is that what you mean? So he didn't have the capacity to charm you and woo you and love bomb you. That's what you guys were missing. Got it. No addressing of Gabriel. And I just felt left disappointed. And I felt like aggravated, and I felt sad, and I felt like, why hasn't Janelle, why didn't they do any follow-up as the producers? Why? Why is it always about Kody? If this show stays like this, how can viewers watch this next year? Will you watch a show where it's just all about Kody feeling sorry for himself? I have a hard time celebrating. And then when they do the trick-or-treating for the kids, I didn't even care. That sounds horrible because I'm sure the little kids had fun. But at that point, I still didn't care. I was like, I don't care about Kody and Robyn and their kids right now. I really don't. Because Kody, Robyn have destroyed this entire family. This whole thing blew up because Kody made the choice of having a favorite wife, because that's what happens in polygamy, discarded all of his rest of the family. He had his midlife crisis. He got his convertible. He got a new wife that was 10 years younger. He traded in the older wives, got rid of all of their kids because they were disobedient. And now here we are, and we're supposed to be happy because they survived COVID and the kids are going trick-or-treating, which again is like, what? I don't care if Kody does anything, period. And I don't care about Robyn because she just enables him. It's so frustrating. And then next week, Robyn and Kody try to get Janelle to gang up on Christine. And then Janelle finally storms off and says, F you to Kody. But I'm still like, if Janelle's best friend is Kody, how can you be best friends with someone that does that to your son? How can you be best friends with someone that treats people poorly? How can you be best friends with someone that belittles, degrades? How can you explain away everything just because he's charming sometimes? What does he actually do for you? Leaves you alone? What does he actually do for anyone other than himself? Even his relationship with Robyn is self-serving because she doesn't fight back. If Robyn fought back, I promise you in a million ways, he would be out the door. But her kids are more important than everyone else's kids. And God forbid anyone make the connection that he has a favorite wife and he's preferential in his treatment of people. God forbid anyone mention that. Otherwise, they're being disobedient, not loyal, and they're the worst people ever. And I'm still left here like, what about Gabriel? Gabriel, I'm sorry. I hope you had a happy birthday. You didn't deserve to have a crappy dad like your dad. And I remain disappointed in the way that this show continues to edit and make Kody look like the victim and try to make Robyn look sympathetic, because I have zero sympathy for either. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.